on. Woo! Woo! Listen, we have rehearsed this for you. We're gonna knock this out for you. We have rehearsed this so much that we can get through this in 20 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be quick because really there were no games yesterday because of the NCAA championship, which UConn won. They beat the Aztecs, San Diego State, by some ridiculous amount. And so there were no games. So we're going to cover the games that went on Sunday, beginning with the Charlotte Hornets. Yes, the Charlotte Hornets. Well, what happened was the Toronto Raptors traveled to Charlotte, and they beat Charlotte 128-108, beaten by 20 points. Starting off with, we're going to start with the losers. And there was no Terry Rozier, no LaMelo Ball, no Kelly Oubre, no P.J. Washington, and no Gordon Hayward. They're starting five. They was missing 94 points, and they only lost by 20, so it wasn't that bad. But we're going to start off with the players that they did start. Mr. Joakim Thor. Yeah, Thor, like the hammer of Thor. Well, he started. Played 34 minutes, gave you 8 points. Mr. Mark Williams played 27 minutes, gave you 15. Theo Maladone played 41 minutes, gave you 8. Sheesh, gotta give you more than that. Seville Mikhailik played 33 minutes, gave you 26. And Bryce McGowans played 30 minutes, gave you 11. You got 32 minutes from Mr. Kai Jones, who gave you 10 points. Bench gave you 49. Another 21 from James Bouknight, and that was it for the Charlotte Hornets. Then we have the Toronto Raptors. Pascal Siakam is becoming a very good player, and I think they're going to make it in. I think they've clinched the play-in on this one. 38 minutes, 6 for 24. You can't beat that shooting 36 points. Then you had OG, who's also known as Agu Guga. Yeah, Agu Guga. 34 minutes, gave you 23 points. Scotty Barnes, 36 minutes, 12 points. Jakob Poeltl, that big pickup from San Antonio, 30 minutes, 16 points. Fred VanVleet played 38 minutes, 20 points. And Chris, and that's it. Okay, you got 21 points for the bench, and that's all you need to know because that was it. Toronto's clinched the playoff spot.
Then we have Utah Jazz went down to New Jersey and played the Nets. And they lost.
They lost by 1 point.
The Nets won 111-110. Utah, Mr. Kelly Olynyk.
The man.
33 minutes, 2 of 7 shooting for a big 7 points. Mr. Lauri Markkanen, 35 minutes, 8 of 21 shooting for a big 23 points. Mr. Walker Kessler, 22 minutes, 3 of 5 shooting for a big 6 points.
6 points. He killed the Celtics.
Oh, well, not now.
Not now.
Taylor Horton Tucker, 34 minutes, 12 of 25 shooting for a big 32 point. He'd be the highest scorer.
Yeah.
Mr. Ochai Agbaji. 29 minutes, 6 of 13, shooting for a big 19 points. They only had Mr. Dunn. Chris Dunn came off the bench for 13. The rest of the team didn't do much. 8, 10 points,
26 points. 26 points. Chris got 13 of them.
And that's it. We went over to Brooklyn.
Led by 20 at one time.
Yeah. Okay, Brooklyn, Mr. Dorian Finney-Smith, 30 minutes, 3 of 6 shooting for a big 8 points.
Not bad.
Mr. Cameron Johnson, game 32 minutes, 5 of 9, shooting for a big 18 points.
Only shot the ball 9 times.
Mikal Bridges, 39 minutes, 9 of 25, shooting for 30 points. And Mr. Nick Claxton, 32 minutes, 7 of 8, shooting for a big 14 points. Mr. Spencer Dinwiddie, 35 minutes, 5 of 13, shooting for 17 points. The bench got a bunch of single figures. We'll give them the win. 111-110.
25 points from the bench, and that's all she wrote. That was it. Then we have the Memphis Grizzlies traveling to Chicago, and we all know that Memphis is going to crush them. They got Ja Morant. They got Desmond Bane. They got Dillon Brooks. It didn't matter because they lost. They lost to Chicago 128-107. That's right. They played the starters, and they lost to Chicago 128-107. So let's start off with the losers, and that would be the Memphis Grizzlies. Memphis went into town, okay, with Jaren Jackson, who played 30 minutes for 31 points. Xavier Tillman, who played 30 minutes for 6 points. Dylan Brooks played 32 minutes and gave you 14. John Morant played 34 minutes and gave you 17. And Desmond Baines, Mr. Desmond Bain, played 33 minutes and gave you 21 points. Okay. 18 points from the bench. Not even going to go through this. Let's get on to the winners. Those Chicago Bulls. Well, Scottie Pippen's not walking through that door. Horace Grant's not walking through that door. And Michael Jordan's not walking through the door. But who did walk through the door was DeMar DeRozan. He played 34 minutes, 11 for 26, 31 points. Nikola Vucevic, 32 minutes, 6 for 10, 13 points. Pat Beverly, that playoff push, Pat Beverly, the one they had to go out and get in order to make this playoff run. Yeah, him. 23 minutes, 2 points. Alex Caruso, well, he did a little bit better. He played 24 minutes, gave you 5. And Zach LaVine saved the day by shooting 13 for 19 and giving them 36 points. They got 41 points from the bench, most notably from Patrick Williams, who always seems to do better. Well, I was going to say score better, but always seems to do better, score better when he comes off the bench. Because when he plays for them, when he starts for them, he never gets double figures. Pat Williams gave him 12 points, and Kobe White gave him 19.
All right. Now we run on down here. Trailblazers went down to Timberwolves. And if you bet on the Timberwolves by 2 points, by 3 points, you lose. Trailblazers beat the Timberwolves.
Beat them.
107 to 105.
Slapped them up.
Let's see. All right. So for the Timberwolves, what we got? We got Mr. Jaden McDaniels, 36 minutes, 4 of 7 shooting for a big 10 points. Mr. Rudy Gobert, 35 minutes, 5 of 10 shooting for 10 points. We have Mr. Towns, Karl Anthony Towns, 25 minutes, 1 of 3 shooting for 8 points. Mr. Mike Conley, 35 minutes, 2 of 8 shooting for 11 points. And then we have Mr. Anthony Edwards, 38
carrying
minutes,
the water,
30 shooting, 37 points. Big
37
man.
points, carried the water for them.
There you go. Then we have Mr. Kyle Anderson, gave him 33 minutes off the bench for 13 points. And that was about it. And they
that's about it.
5.
Yeah.
Portland came on over there. And Mr. Drew Eubanks, 29 minutes, 5 of 11 shooting.
Wait a minute. Who?
Eubanks.
Who?
Eubanks.
Nobody knows who he is. Yeah. They didn't have any of the which Damian Lillard and Jeremy Grant and Anthony Simons didn't even play.
Took a break.
They didn't even play.
Then we have Mr. Trendon Watford, 19 minutes, 6 of 8 shooting for 15 points. Yeah. We have Mr. Matisse Thybulle, 30 minutes, 1 of 6 shooting for a big 2 points. He was
2 points.
Link.
2 points, everybody.
Then we have Mr. Mays.
Skylar Mays.
30 minutes, 6 of 9 shooting for 13 points. And then we have Mr. Shaden Sharp, 35 minutes, 9 of 19 shooting for 27 points. Mr. Knox came off the bench. Kevin Knox the second, 29 minutes, 8 of 15 shooting for 19 points. They got that 107 and they won.
You know, I have a feeling that you're going to know Mr. Skylar Mays' name by the end of the season because he's putting up some numbers.
Indeed.
Not so much. Anyway, we have the Dallas Mavericks, right? And the Atlanta Hawks. Now, on star power alone, everyone takes Dallas. Dallas has Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic. But they lost 132 to 130 in Atlanta last night. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The Dallas Mavericks lost again, 132 to 130. And there's not a dry eye in Texas right now, especially in Dallas, because they're crying. They're crying over the debacle that used to be a team. Dallas, let's start off with the losers. They started Tim Hardaway. They let Tim Hardaway shoot the ball 6 times. That's right. In 18 minutes, they let him shoot 6 times. He had 6 points. Then Reggie Bullock. They let Reggie Bullock shoot the ball 6 times. These guys are starters, right? Proven starters. Reggie Bullock gave you 8 points. Dwight Powell. They let Dwight shoot it 3 times. Okay, and he gave you 7 points. Then we have Kyrie Irving, who shot it 27 times in 44 minutes. Now, I should preface this. Now, the first 3 guys I listed, one played 18 minutes, the other one played 20, the other one played 20. So they played a total of 58 minutes. Kyrie came in and played 44 minutes on his own. Shot the ball 27 times, 1 for 6 from three-point line, but he scored 41 points. Then you have the other big wig, Mr. Luka Doncic. Mr. Luka Doncic played 44 minutes also. He was 8 for 21, 3 for 12 from the three-point line, minus 22. As a matter of fact, everyone was a minus except for Dwight Powell. He's the only one who was a plus for the starters. Of course, the bench, when I look at the bench, they all gave him pluses. That's right. Mr. Kleiber came off and, he was a minus 20. No, not him. Christian Wood was a plus 10. Mr. David Bertans was a plus 5. JaVale McGee came in and gave you 11 points. He was a plus 13. Christian Wood gave you 18 points. Josh Green gave you 13 points. He was a plus 6. So the starters mucked it up. And what can we say? Anyway, let's move on to Atlanta Hawks, the winners. John Collins played 34 minutes, 5 for 10, 16 points. Sadiq Bey, 38 minutes, 6 for 13, 13 points. Clint Capella, always a good guy, 6 for 9, 14 points. Trae Young, 41 minutes, shot the ball 24 times, 24 points. DeJounte Murray, 41 minutes, 11 for 21, 25 points. The bench gave them 48 points off the bench. And that was it. But I think I have to point out that how they lost the game. They lost the game with 1.5 seconds left when Kyrie Irving ran into Trae Young. He sold it, but it was definitely he just ran into him. My partner here, Mr. James, says, how did that happen? He was trying to tie up the ball?
Kyrie was going to tie up the ball. He got a bad angle. Because of his bad angle, he caused a foul.
1.5 seconds left.
Put your hands up, Kyrie. Just put your hands up.
I'm putting my hands up. Forget about it. Kyrie, it was a pick and roll. Just roll off it, or maybe just double team, and you force the guy to have the try to throw over you. But you don't foul him. You definitely don't run into him.
You know better, Kyrie. You know better. All
right.
Next game, the Wizards went on down to New York, and usually New York don't like to win on their floor, but they won.
They won
118 to 109. All right, let's see, Washington. What was you doing? What was you doing?
They weren't playing Bradley Beal, Kristaps Porzingis, or Kyle Kuzma.
Okay. All right,
I don't know why they're saving them. I don't know, but
I don't know. All right, Corey Kispert, 34 minutes, 10 of 19 shooting for big 29 points. Mr. Denny Edija, 34 minutes, 3 of 8 shooting for big 9 points. Mr. Daniel Gafford, 28 minutes, 2 of 2 shooting for a big 4 points. Mr. Dylan Wright, 32 minutes, 3 of 9 shooting for 8 points. And then Mr. Johnny Davis, like my uncle, Johnny Davis, 30 minutes, 6 of 11 shooting for a big 16 points.
Johnny Lee Davis.
Mr. Gibson, Taj Gibson came off the bench for 14 points.
Taj is still in the league.
Mr. Kendrick Nunn gave him 11 points. And Mr. Goodwin,
Jordan
Goodwin came off and gave him another 11 points. 109.
Wasn't good enough.
The Knicks did. The Knicks ran on up in there. And Mr. Obi Toppin, 33 minutes, 9 of 15 shooting for a big 21 points.
Obi Toppin. It was Obi Toppin Satan.
Mr. Mitchell Robinson, 26 minutes, 3 of 4 shooting for a big 8 points.
Woo.
Mr. Jalen Brunson, 39 minutes, 11 of 20 shooting for a big 27 points. Mr. Emmanuel Quicken, 37 minutes, 8 of 18 shooting for big 27 points. And Mr. Quentin Grimes, 41 minutes. He played almost the whole game, 9 of 17 for a big 27 points.
He led him. He led him, baby, 27 points.
Bench gave him 13 points. They didn't need it, but they won.
They won. They took it, baby. They ain't having none of that. Now we get to real teams. Teams like Detroit and Orlando. Teams that are the backbone of the league. Well, Detroit, they traveled to Orlando to see Mickey Mouse. And they got swapped. Yeah, I don't know. Mickey hit him over the head pretty badly. 128 to 102. That's right. The Orlando Magic beat Detroit Pistons by 26 points. Well, let's just get right to it, okay? Start off with the Detroit Pistons. They started their number 1 draft pick of, I think, 3 or 4 years ago, Marvin Bagley. Marvin Bagley was 0 for 4. 0 for 4. Okay, gave him 2 points. I guess 2 free throws. Isaiah Livers played 31 minutes, 10 points. James Wiseman played 23 minutes, 4 for 8, 12 points. Jaden Ivey, 31 minutes. What is this, 4 for 14? Looks like it. 14 points. And Killian Hayes, 34 minutes, 8 for 12, 20 points. Well, Eugene Omoruyi, yeah, he played 28 minutes, gave him 19 points. Eugene Omoruyi. I think he scored more than only Killian Hayes scored more than him. And Jalen Duren, the number 1 draft pick of last year, gave him 7 points. You know what? 6 players, 44 points. Let's just leave it at that. Isn't much to talk about with Detroit. They were missing their big gun, though, Bojan Bogdanovic. And, of course, Cade Cunningham, who's been out injured for the past 40 games. Oh, there were some winners in this one. The Magic. The Orlando Magic with Pablo Banchero. Now, I want you to notice this. The Orlando Magic didn't even play their starters past 30 minutes. Nope. Banchero played 29 minutes, had 14 points. Franz Wagner, okay, he did play 31 minutes. They just couldn't find anybody else to get in there. He was a plus 33, the largest on the team, 16 points. Wendell Carter played 23 minutes, 14 points. Markelle Fultz played 24 minutes, gave him 11 points. And Gary Harris played 19 minutes for 8 points. They're not even playing these guys, and they're beating the heck out of the Pistons. Okay, they got 67 points from the bench. Starting with Moritz Wagner, who gave him 11. Goga Bitadze, who gave him 13. Cole Anthony gave him 17. Jalen Suggs gave him 18. It just, that's enough. 67 points. Just beating the heck out of the Pistons. Okay. Wait till next year, like they used to say about the Brooklyn Dodgers when they were in Brooklyn. Wait till next year, Pistons, as you've been saying for the past 20 years.
All right, next game up, Mr. Greg Popovich took his team down to Sacramento, and they kicked some butt.
Oh, my gosh.
They beat him down. Matter of fact, their bench scored 78 points.
Yeah. Greg Popovich. Yeah, he's won 19 more games this whole season.
Hey, hold on.
Just saying.
You know what? I'm just going to talk about the Spurs.
Talk about the Spurs.
Mr. Spurs, they came in there and they did their thing. Mr. Zach Collins came in there 23 minutes, 6 of 13, shooting for 16 points. Mr. Keita
Beta Docs.
32 minutes, 4 or 5 shooting for 13 points. Then you have Mr. Devontae Grahams, 19 minutes, 1 of 6 shooting for 3 points. And you have Mr. Trey Jones, 33 minutes, 7-11 shooting for 17 points. And you have Mr.
Malachi
Branham, 31 minutes for 7 of 12 shooting for 15 points.
Not
but then
bad.
you got the real dogs in there.
Yeah, the real dogs came off the bench.
We went down to the bench, and we came up with Mr. Julian Champagne, who gave him 28 minutes, 9 of 14, shooting for 26 points. Then we went on down to Mr. McDermott, who gave him 28 minutes, 9 of 15, shooting for 30 points. You forgot a guy in there. You forgot Mr. Dougie Barlow. Gave him 30 minutes, 5 of 8 shooting for 12 points. Totally over. The other ones gave him 6 and 4. We gave him
78
points from the bench.
The bench.
So because one of the worst teams in the league beat you, the Kings, we're not even going to talk about you. Moving on to the next game.
Yeah, we won't even talk about Sacramento. They don't even want to be known. But I will say this. They played their starters. They played Sabonis, Barnes, Murray, Fox, and Herter, the starters, and they got beat by one of the worst teams in the league. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Speaking of travesties in life, the Los Angeles Lakers played the Houston Rockets, and that was a travesty because Los Angeles, one of the better teams in the league, played one of the worst teams in the league, and they still had a free throw disparity of 28-10. How they did that? How does it do? It's like a phenomenon. No matter who Los Angeles plays, there's a free throw disparity of like 3-1, 2-1, at least 2-1. So it's going to be 3-1 too. In this case, it was 3-1. Well, they beat them 134-109. They didn't even need to send Los Angeles to the line. They could have just let them play the darn game and get it over with. Because we're playing against the Rockets, and this is a no-brainer. Yeah, they killed them. Let's just start off with the losers. Okay, Mr. Jabari Smith played 33 minutes, gave you 12 points. Kenyon Martin Jr., 28 minutes, gave you 11. Alperen Sengun, nice player, gave 31 minutes, 9 for 17, 18 points. Kevin Porter Jr., 37 minutes, 7 for 16, 20 points. And Mr. Jalen Green, 40 minutes, played a lot, for 24 points, 7 for 21. They got 22 points off the bench. There was a Frank Kaminsky signing. Yeah, Frank, he used to be with the Milwaukee Bucks. But I think they traded him so they can get Grayson Allen. I don't know if that's working too well, but Frank, they might need you back. Let's get to the Los Angeles Lakers. Los Angeles. They played that very fine player known as Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis played 30 minutes, was 15 for 20 for 40 points. 15 for 20. He was only a +2 in the plus-minus column, so he wouldn't play any defense while he was out there. Jared Vanderbilt played 15 minutes, gave you 2 points. LeBron James played 29 minutes. And it hurts me to say this. He was 8 for 18, but he was a +23. I can't believe defense was being played out there while LeBron was out there, but it must have happened. Okay. He gave him 18 points, LeBron did. 8 for 18 for 18 points. D'Angelo Russell, 2 for 4 for 6 points. And Austin Reeves, 4 for 7 for 18 points. Rui Hachimura came off the bench, played 25 minutes, gave you 20 points. They got 13 points from Malik Beasley, 50 points from the bench in total. And they just rolled over this team. They even scored 30 points, 9 for 30, 3-point line. And, of course, there's that free throw disparity of 28-10. Amazing. It's just phenomenal. It's like a comet, like Haley's comet. You just see it and you're amazed. How does this happen?
I don't know. All right, we move on down. Phoenix Suns went on down to Thunder, and the Thunder wasn't thundering at all.
They tried hard.
128-118.
Well, one of them did. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was out there pumping.
There's a name called Devin Booker and Kevin Durant.
That's right, because Durant is back.
Not happening. All right, let's see what Oklahoma had going on. We have Mr. Jalen Williams, 20 minutes, 2 of 3 shooting for a big 7 points. Then we have Jalen Williams, 35 minutes, 5 of 12 shooting, 1 of 3 shooting for a big 12 points.
12 points. That's what you got from the Williams brothers, 19.
There you go. Then we have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. 38 minutes, 11 of 22 shooting for 39 points.
39 points, Shai. Shai.
Josh Giddey, 35 minutes, 5 of 16 shooting for 16 points. And then we have Mr. Luguentz Dort. 39 minutes, 4 14 shooting for a big 14 points. Then we
Not enough.
Mr. Wiggins came off the bench, Aaron Wiggins, and gave him 14 points.
30 points in total for the bench.
30 points total, nothing else.
That's it.
We went over to Phoenix. Mr. KD. KD came in the house, gave him 35 minutes, 13 of 21 for 35 points. Mr. Josh Okogie, 26 minutes, 1 of 2 shooting for a big 14 points. Mr. DeAndre Ayton, 31 minutes, 8 of 12 shooting for 19 points.
My man, Chris Paul,
32 minutes, 5 of 9 shooting for a big 16 points. And Mr. Devin Booker finished it off for 37 minutes, 8 of 14 shooting for 22. Their bench were all in single digits, but they didn't need him. So
they didn't need him. Devin's learning. He's only 8 for 14. He only shot the ball 14 times. He ain't trying to shoot out the lights because he has Mr. Durant there with him.
Yeah, you know he ain't have to work too hard, man.
Just have to work too hard. Durant shot it 21 times. He shot it 14 times. Coexisting. That's more than we can say for Luka Doncic and
Mr. Kyrie
Irving. Moving on. Indiana Pacers travel to Cleveland. It had to be a game because nobody goes to Cleveland unless they have to. You stay out of there. And you had a good chance of keeping your money and keeping your well-being. Well, Indiana went there, and they lost. 105 to 115, 105 to 115. Cleveland beat them to start off with the losers. Mr. Jordan Nwora played 36 minutes, 4 for 15, 15 points. Aaron Nesmith. Aaron shot the ball 9 times for 14 points. Mr. Jackson shot the ball 21 times for 3 points. He was the weakest link. Andrew Nebhard hit that three-pointer over LeBron. Seems like so many moons ago. 31 minutes, 6 for 14, 13 points. And Benedict Mathurin, very good player, played 33 minutes, 19 points. You got 12 points from Mr. Smith and 10 points from Mr. Buddy Hyde. That was it for the Pacers, and they lost again. I don't know how many they've lost in a row. I think they're like 3-7 in the last 10 games. We have Cleveland, who's the opposite. I think they're 7-3 in the last 10 games. You have Mr. Dean Wade, played 27 minutes, gave you 5 points. Well, that's not too great. Okay. Well, let me take Phoenix out of this. What am I doing? Phoenix doesn't need to be there. We need to have Cleveland. All right. Mr. Evan Mobley played 39 minutes, 7 for 17, 14 points. Jared Allen played 27 minutes, gave you 15 points. Darius Garland played 39 minutes, gave you 20. And Donovan Mitchell, my man. Now, this is really my man. We were just being facetious with Chris Paul. Donovan Mitchell, 14 for 25 for 40 points. The bench gave you 21 points. And that rounds out that game.
Philly went on down there to see about the Bucks. And
yeah,
the Bucks fucked them back home. Well. 117 to 104. Let's see. Philadelphia, Mr. P.J. Tucker. Leon, 24 minutes, 2 of 5 shooting for a big 5 points. Mr. Tobias Harris, 28 minutes, 3 of 6 shooting for 6 points. Mr. Embiid, Joel Embiid, 32 minutes, 11-25 shooting for a big 28 points. Big time Tyrese Maxey, 35 minutes, 9 of 15 shooting, 29 points.
The man.
And your guy.
Mr. Invisible.
Mr. Man. James Harden. 34 minutes, 4 of 9 shooting for a big 11 points.
11 points. James Harden. Big time James.
Daniel House Jr. came off the bench with 10 points. Nothing to speak but the rest. And that was the end of them with 104 points.
That was it.
Milwaukee came on down with Zeus, 32 minutes, 13 of 17 shooting for a big 33 points. Mr. Chris Middleton, 32 minutes, 6 of 14 shooting for 19 points. Your guy, Mr. Brook Lopez, 31 minutes, 9 of 13 shooting for 21 points. And Mr. Jrue Holiday, 35 minutes, 7 of 11 shooting for 18 points. Then we have Mr. Grayson Allen,
the weakest link.
1 of 3 shooting for a big 2 points.
2 points.
Guy, Mr. Porter's come off the bench and gave him a big 28 minutes, 18 points.
Wow.
They won.
Joe Angles gave him 6. Now, I want to know, it says Thanasis Antetokounmpo is suspended by the league.
Really?
I wonder why that is, because he doesn't do anything. He barely gets off the bench.
Well, that's probably why he got too much time on his hands.
He doesn't even get off the bench. Might play every 5 games.
I can do something to get attention.
Yeah, get suspended by the league. Anyway. Yeah. In the last game, the Golden State Warriors traveled to Denver to take on the Nuggets. Now, most of you are thinking, Golden State Warriors, easy game, right? Easy game. Taking on the Nuggets. The Nuggets, they're not even going to play Jokic. And they didn't. But guess who won? Denver Nuggets. 112 to 110, 112 to 110. Denver Nuggets won without Nikola Jokic. And, these words are just twisting my tongue like crazy. Unbelievable. Let's just get to the Golden State Warriors and the losers, which they were. Draymond Green played 37 minutes, was 2 for 7, 4 points. Kevon Looney, 27 minutes, gave you 6 points. Not bad. And that's when you thought it was going to get much better with Steph Curry. It didn't. Steph Curry was 8 for 28, 2 for 14 from three-point line for 21 points. Klay Thompson, another 9 for 28. Okay, 9 for 28, 5 for 16 from the three-point line, 25 points. Dante DiVincenzo, he played 32 minutes, was 8 for 12, 18 points. They got 17 points from Jordan Poole, who played 20 minutes, and that was it. Basically, that was it. Denver beat him without Jokic, and let's see how. Mr. Jeff Green, he played 26 minutes. Jeff is about 60 years old. And he scored 10 points. And, you know,
he's 36, man. 4.5 million.
Yeah, okay, but 36. Okay,
he got the long hands, long hands.
Yeah, but 36 is old in the NBA.
It is.
That might as well be 60.
You're right.
Anyway, Aaron Gordon played 39 minutes, 6 for 18, 13 points. Michael Porter Jr. played 34 minutes, and what did he do there? He gave him 29 points. Jamal Murray played 41 minutes, 10 for 21, 26 points. And Kentavious Caldwell Pope played 21 minutes, gave you 3 points. Bryce Brown came off the bench to give you 14, and that's the end of our roundup. That's our carousel. All 13 games in less than 30 minutes. How you like that, ladies and gentlemen? Now we're going to get to the Eastern Conference. Eastern Conference, okay? We're going to describe to you what's happening in the Eastern Conference and get right to it. Well, Milwaukee Bucks leading. They played 78 games. There's 4 more games to go. And with 4 more games to go, they lead the Boston Celtics by 2. Looks like that might be a wrap. Celtics in second place. Both teams are 7-3 in the last 10 games. Philadelphia 76ers are in third place, 51-27, 5-5 in their last 10 games. They're not trying to win. Okay. Cleveland Cavaliers, 49-30, 7-3 in the last 10 games. And the New York Knicks round out the top 5, 46-33, 10.5 games behind the Milwaukee Bucks, 7-3 in the last game. They are putting in the effort. What do we got for the next 5, Mr.
Brooklyn Nets, the team that's to be watched. You better watch out. Brooklyn Nets doing 43 wins, 35 losses. They're still at that 500, hovering well. 13 games in the rear, 22-16, 21-19 away. They got a winning streak of 3. They're 4 of their last 10. They won 4 of the last 10. Miami Heat, 41-37. They're 500 in that 500 bracket, 15 games in the rear. They're won 26-14 at home, 15-23 away. A winning streak of 1. They have won 5 of the last 10. Atlanta Hawks, 39-39, 500 straight across, 17 in the rear, 23-16 at home, 16-23 away.
5-5 in the last 10.
Winning streak of 1, and at 5 of the last 10. Toronto Raptors, 39-39. Play that number tonight. 500 straight across, 17.
I hope he hits.
17 in the rear.
We'll never forget this.
26-14 at home, 13-25 away. Winning streak of 1. They won 7 of their last 10. Chicago Bulls. The
playoff pushing Chicago Bulls with Patrick Beverly.
38-40. 38 wins, 40 losses. They're below 500. They got 18 in the rear. They got 21-18 at home, 17-22 away. A winning streak of 2, and they won 7 of their last 3. So you watch out now. They're moving.
Yeah. They're not moving too far.
Nah.
No. Well, rounding out the last 5 teams of the 15 in the Eastern Conference, we have the Washington Wizards, Orlando Magic, Indiana Pacers, Charlotte Hornets, and the Detroit Pistons, and all but the Orlando Magic have been eliminated, mathematically eliminated. So Orlando might have some chance. I guess they're going to be playing some of the bottom tier teams in the next 4 games, and maybe there might be a shift, but I doubt it. So right now it looks like the Bucks, the Celtics, the 76ers, Cleveland, New York, Brooklyn Nets, Miami Heat, and Atlanta Hawks. That's the way I see it. And if they started the playoffs tomorrow, Milwaukee will play the Hawks. The Celtics will play the Heat. 76ers would play the Nets, and Cleveland would play the Knicks. My predictions are, well, I'll wait to the end of it. I just want to go over something very important. Not very important, but something that's going to fascinate you. That the NBA standings, back 5 years ago, when the Western Conference was so dominant, all we heard was, well, if we just played the teams that won and not these conference things, the East wouldn't even be in there. Well, let's go with the top 15 teams, okay, as they are. That would be the Milwaukee Bucks, Boston Celtics, Denver Nuggets, Philadelphia 76ers, Memphis Grizzlies, Cleveland Cavaliers, Sacramento Kings, New York Knicks, Phoenix Suns, Brooklyn Nets, Miami Heat. Actually, you can just cut it off right there. I think that's 13 teams deep. Because after that, you just got a bunch of teams that are 41 and 38, which would be the LA Clippers, Golden State Warriors, and then you got the Los Angeles Lakers who are at 40 and 30. The majority of the teams that would be playing would be Eastern Conference teams. 4 or 5 of the Western Conference teams sneak in there. But other than that, they're done. And now we're going to talk about who's going to make it through the first round in the playoffs. Well, I'm just going to talk about who's going to make it going forward. I'm looking at the Bucks and the Celtics going forward. 76ers might make it out the first round. They might not. And I'm looking at Cleveland making it out the first round.
The Nets are going to beat the Sixers.
You think so?
Right.
Yeah, that could happen.
Yeah,
that could happen. Yeah, that could definitely happen.
Nets are going to beat the Sixers. Cleveland's going to beat New York.
Yeah, that should happen.
That's my prediction.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you can see we were tight and concise today because we rehearsed this already once. Mr. James, you want to give the particulars behind that?
Well, for some reason, my partner has 5 fingers on his hand, and he pressed with one, the index finger being the first finger on his hand after the thumb which is not a finger, it's a thumb, and he pressed the button to give a countdown. However, he never pressed the button for live. So because he did not press the button for live, he left us unlive speaking for an hour.
Yeah, an hour. Just an hour.
A whole hour. And nothing's being good.
Woo, baby. Woo. I owe you lunch. Listen, you know I will be back in Boston on the 19th, and on the 20th, I'm taking you out for lunch. So mark that down.
Gotcha. We got some unity.
Unity. One voice. And pick up the trash. That's right. Clean up your neighborhood. United we stand. We fall. Be nice to one another. All right? Be nice to one another. You notice in our broadcast, there's no swearing, no N-words. You have 2 mature black men who can actually speak to one another without cursing and using vulgar slang. It's amazing, isn't it? Who knew this could happen? Really? Everybody should be thinking something like this, ladies and gentlemen. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, sports fans everywhere, you are what you want to make of yourself, okay? You are the most important person in sports. Don't gamble. Don't bet. Don't go to strip clubs. Change the narrative. Become who you want to be, not who they want you to be. Anything in closing, Mr. James?
Have a safe and bright day. Happy belated Palm Sunday and a happy Easter Sunday.
Easter Sunday coming up.
Yes, sir.
And I forgot. Yeah, today's April 4th. In the 2023 year of our Lord Jesus Christ, April 4th, we passed Palm Sunday. We're on our way to Easter. Okay, give thanks to everything that you have. It's a blessing. I guarantee for everything that went wrong, 10 things went right. So let's get to it, guys. We got things we got to do. I was surprised that we only have 4,000 weeks in our life. If we add it all together, we only have 4,000 weeks in the average life of a person. So let's take advantage of it. We will see you on Thursday. Thank you for showing up. If you have any comments, anybody want to complain about the fact that Los Angeles generally gets, 3-1 foul calls when they play somebody, surprisingly like a phenomenon, leave it in the comment section. I'd love to hear this.
All right, you guys have a good day.
You guys have a good day. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.